Hi guys! Today it's time to refresh my everyday makeup drawers. Usually once it starts looking like this is when I am like, okay, it is time to film another one of these videos because things are just getting a little messy in here. So over here we have a lot of base products, complexion products. I am still not quite finished with the Ilia skin tint, but it is getting really close to done. It's gotten to the point where I now can't really get anything out with the stopper or with the dropper. So I've just been like literally dumping it into my hand from the bottle. So that's when I know it is getting close to the end. So I'm just gonna leave this in here until it is finished because, as I've said before, this has technically expired. It expired in February, so I'm just trying to use it up as soon as I can. Then the other foundation, I am going to keep this in here as well. This is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh foundation. I'm specifically using this foundation for filming my sunscreen demos right now. So I'm working on a big sunscreen roundup that'll go up in June. And this is always the foundation that I use to test alongside sunscreens. Then the other two foundations that I had in here that I was working on reviewing were these two, the CoverGirl Skin Essence and the Urban Decay Face Bond. If you missed it, I will link below my makeup roundup tier list video. And both of these were included in there. I showed demos of everything, shared lots and lots of details, so if you want to hear more about these two, I will link that below. But long story short, these have both grown on me a lot since the first time I tried them, but I think I'm going to go ahead and put both of these back into my collection for now since I've used them both quite a few times and would like to get some use out of some of my older foundations now. Okay, the Milk Makeup Cloud Glow Primer. I also talked about this in my tier list video. I feel like this doesn't do anything for me. Also, when you store it on its side, it leaks. I've literally only had it on its side for like the past few minutes and it's already leaking. But I wanted to toss this in here just to remind myself to tell you that I'm decluttering this because this just doesn't do anything. It doesn't really add glow. It doesn't really affect the longevity of my makeup. It's just kind of there. It's just kind of like applying water to my face. So there's no reason for me to keep this in my collection. Hopefully I can pass it on to somebody who might enjoy it more, but this is just not the product for me. These are the two concealers I've had in here, the Natasha Denona High Glam and the LA Girl Pro Conceal. Now that I've finally gathered my thoughts on the Natasha Denona concealer and reviewed it, I'm going to go ahead and put this back in my collection. I've used it a ton over the last month or so, so I feel like I've gotten a lot of use out of it. I've definitely gotten to know it pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and put it away now because I just want to use something else. I am going to keep the LA Girl Pro Concealer in here though because I didn't use this as much as the Natasha Denona one over the last rotation and I would like to use this some more. This is my oldest concealer right now and I would love to finish this year. I'm going to keep this in here, try and get some more use out of it. I might pull another concealer in to join it, but this one's gonna stay. This is the last little bit of the Sigma Color Correcting Duo. As you can see, there's still a little bit left, so I'm gonna keep working on this as well. Okay, these are the two sprays I have in here, the JLo Beauty Glow and Get It, which this is not really going to do anything as far as longevity. It's more one of those that you just do as the last step of your makeup to kind of take away the look of powder, meld everything together if things are looking kind of dry. That's what this is good for. So I just keep this in here all the time because it's just kind of good to have on hand for that. And as you can see, I've already used up a lot of this. It's a small bottle, kind of hoping to finish this at some point this year just by keeping it in here. And then this one I also talked about in my tier list video, but this is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. Loving this setting spray so much, but I am going to put this away because I've used it a lot now and I want to try to give some of my other setting sprays some attention. Somehow all of my powders just keep ending up in here all at once. I like to just keep one loose and one pressed powder in here at a time, and the ones that I'm using right now, I'm trying to use the same ones every time I do a sunscreen demo just to keep things consistent. So I've been using the e.l.f. Halo Glow for the under eyes and the CoverGirl Clean Fresh for the entire face. The pan in this has really expanded, which is so nice to see. So I'm going to keep this one in here. I am going to put the Essence Brighten Up Banana Powder away for now just because I've been using this one most days, but I will definitely get back to this. This is a perfectly good like translucent setting powder as well. I use it all over the face. I don't like it on my under eyes. And then this is the e.l.f. Halo Glow powder in light pink. I also have just the regular light shade in my collection, but I'm going to keep this one in. I've been loving this pink shade. And then this is the Huda Beauty Easy Bake loose powder. Also really been liking this. I have the shade Pound Cake. Really, really nice. I definitely see why so many people love this. This I'm going to go ahead and put away for now. I like everything about this except the packaging. I just don't like the built-in puff. It's just not my favorite, but the full size of this is in more of a regular loose powder packaging with like a normal lid. There's no puff in there. So maybe I should have gotten that one, but yeah, whatever. Okay, then for bronzer, these are all the bronzers that I had in here. Somehow so many bronzers have found their way into this drawer. We'll start with the liquid. So I have these Makeup Revolution bronzing drops. For me, the only way that I like to use this is as a liquid bronzer, and it actually is beautiful as a liquid bronzer. I'm gonna go ahead and put all of these cheek products away, and then I might end up pulling some of them back in again, but I just kind of want to get a clean slate on the cheek products. Then the Glossier Cloud Paint Bronzer in Sail. This is so nice, really easy to work with. I do find that liquid blushes can be kind of tricky sometimes, but this one is so easy, like you can't mess it up. Then I also have in here the Soul Body Bronzing Balm in Fair. This is another thing I'm trying to hit pan on this year, so I'm gonna probably have this in this drawer for most of the summer. I'll go ahead and put it back for now just because I'm not sure what other products I want to pull in right now, but this will probably be coming back. And we have these two. We have the Fenty bronzer in Into Sun, which is still my all-time favorite powder bronzer. I love this so much. It's what I'm wearing today. Not that you can see it, but it is what I'm wearing today. Then this is the Sigma Matte Bronzer in Light, which is a bit newer to me. I really like this one. It's a little bit darker than the Fenty. I know they don't look very different, but on the skin, the Sigma one does go on just a little bit deeper. It's also a bit more golden toned, whereas the Fenty is more neutral, leaning a little bit rosy. So they're just a little bit different, but the Sigma one I think is going to be a good summer bronzer for me. Then this technically is a bronzer. I use it as a blush and I love it as a blush. I actually don't like it as a bronzer. I find it too dark and pigmented. This is the lightest shade, which is called Buttercup. It is quite a pigmented formula. Also has a sheen to it, which I think is really pretty, especially as a blush. But you can see there, it's just a touch rosy. And if you like a beige or bronzy blush color, this is stunning worn that way. And the nice thing about this too is that it works really well just as your only cheek product, because it's kind of like a blush, bronzer, and highlight in one. Like, it gives this beautiful glow to the cheeks, so you definitely don't need to wear highlighter with this unless you just want extra glow. But yeah, I have just been head over heels in love with this ever since I tried it as a blush. At first I was really disappointed when I used it as a bronzer because I was like, no, this is way too deep and like too intense, and it just isn't quite right. I'm someone that likes a super light bronzer though, so that's why. But I love it as a blush. It's so perfect, really warms up my face. I think this is gonna be like one of my most worn products of the summer. Okay, I spent way too long on that, sorry. I just love that product. Just realized this primer got lost in the sea of other products over there, but this is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I have recently hit pan on this, which is so exciting. I do think that this will be pretty easy to finish up this year, but for now, I'm gonna put this away because I've used it a ton over the past couple months, and I wanna pull in one of my other primers. All right, had a ton of blushes in here as well. These were the only two powder blushes, the Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush in Shimmery Rose and the Flower Beauty Flower Pods Blush in Sweet Pea. Both actually pretty pinky blushes. The Essence one is just a little bit warmer. Absolutely love both of these. They're so easy to work with. They're both very, like, even though they're very different, they're both just so easy to work with. I think it helps that the shades are so light. They blend in so easily. I do feel like I got a good bit of use out of these, even considering that I was testing out quite a few new formulas this time. These were two more that I've had for a while that I also really enjoyed. I have really fallen back in love with this Milani Cheek Kiss Cream Blush in Nude Kiss. This I've had for so long, but it is still one of my favorites. It's such a natural looking yet still vibrant shade. And this is the Minori Cream Blush in Scarlet. This one's more of like a warm red color. Also love this, especially for like a sunburnt blush kind of look. It's really pretty. I know red blush sounds kind of intimidating, but this is a very wearable formula. It actually, like, the formula of this does remind me of the Milani one a little bit. They're both kind of thin, very buildable, so you don't have to worry about going overboard. They're just very easy to manipulate, easy to blend, and really big fan of both. Oh yeah, and then this is a Franken blush that I made. I know it looks kind of odd in there, a little lumpy. If you missed my YouTube short where I made this, I'll link it below, but I essentially used the leftovers of 3 broken stick products that I fixed. It was 2 lipsticks and 1 highlighter, and in order to fix them, I had to dig out everything that was in like the base of the stick, and I didn't want to just waste that product, so instead I made a Franken blush, and it's actually a beautiful color. Like, I love this shade. Actually kind of reminds me of Magic Hour from Tower 28. It's like a warm nude peachy beige color. Also kind of similar to that NYX Buttermelt bronzer. Yeah, love this kind of shade, so I'm really excited that it turned out in a shade that I really like. Then also had in here a couple of newer to me cream blushes. This is the Kaja Dewy Bar in Peach Cobbler. Really pretty bright peachy coral shade. I like this, but it's not a love, you know, like it's just okay. Something about it just doesn't really speak to me. Then this one I really like. I tend to prefer cream blushes in a compact. This is the Sigma Cream Blush in Pashmina. This is another really nice buildable cream blush, similar to these other two where you don't really have to worry too much about going overboard with it because it's just very forgiving. These are two liquid blushes that I've been playing with. We have the Say Dew Blush in Rosy and the e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush in Peach Perfect. My favorite is the e.l.f., partially because I love the shade so much, but also because I just find it so easy to work with and it doesn't end up looking patchy even when I just apply it straight from the doe foot. The Say one does require just a little bit more attention to apply. Very, very pigmented, also very dewy and a little bit sticky too. So, you know, it's not my favorite, but I do like it. I've also been testing out these Revolution Bright Light Glow Drops, which you could use as a glowy primer or as a liquid highlighter or to mix in with any product that you want. I've used it as a liquid highlighter, really pretty, really subtle that way. And overall, I think it's a pretty product. I also think that if you have any kind of glowy liquid product like this, you probably don't need to buy this one, but I've been enjoying it. Also been enjoying this Ilia multi-stick in the shade Cosmic Dancer, another very subtle highlighter. Most of the time I don't really want it to look like I have highlighter on, and this is perfect for that. It is a little bit stiff, like you do kind of have to really warm it up a little bit, but I do love that really subtle, soft glow that it gives my cheeks. And an old favorite here that I really enjoyed using, this is the Estate Baked Highlight in Lit. I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but I do feel like I've really flattened out the dome of this. I feel like it's going to take 1,000 years to actually use it up, but it's always nice to see progress. Then in this drawer we have my eye and lip products, and also I used to have my eyeliners in here, but I wanted to show you, I recently got from Dollar Tree this pencil holder. I thought this would be great for eyeliners, just keeping them all easily accessible. I felt like just having them in one of these types of containers, I just wasn't using them. And this has been really great so far. I feel like I have been actually reaching for my eyeliners a lot more. In the top, I just have black and nude pencils. And then in this second compartment, I have colored eyeliner pencils. Then I have my two liquids. In the next one, this is just a brown and a black. And then here I have a bunch of my eyeshadow sticks. And then in this very bottom one, I have my two liquid eyeshadows. Yeah, this has been so great. I've just been keeping it on my vanity next to my brushes, and it's really been a game changer. So just wanted to show you guys that. The NYX Brow Glue in Taupe. In my first impression of this, I didn't love it. I was hoping that this would be like a tinted version of the Ardell Brow Glue, but really to me, this is just like a medium strong hold brow gel. So I use it a bit differently than I use the Ardell. I typically do use it in combination with one of my NYX Lipton Snatch brow pens. I will fill my brows in first with one of the brow pens, and then I'll just use this like I would a brow gel. So I'm glad that I've at least found a way to use it that I like, even though it hasn't necessarily replaced the Ardell one for me. In this video, I am also going to pick out some palettes because I've decided to stop doing my palette basket seasonally and instead just refresh it every time I do my everyday makeup drawers, because I just feel like when I do it seasonally, there's so many palettes in there that I might as well just break it up a little bit more. So I think we're just gonna do it more like monthly now. These are part of my spring palette basket, the Hard Candy Buzz Quad and the Quo Stacked Eyeshadow in Snow Cone. I'm gonna take both of these out. And then I have a few single cream shadows. So we have the Danessa Myricks Color Fix in Nude 4. I don't know, I feel like this is just okay, but I don't love it. The e.l.f. No Budge Cream Eyeshadow, this one, I love the shade of this so much, but this unfortunately is not No Budge. Some people have suggested trying this with a powder eyeshadow on top, so I do need to try it that way. I think I am gonna go ahead and leave it in here for another rotation. Also because it is just such a cute color for this time of year, I really would like to make this work. I am gonna put this away. This has been in here for a while. It's the Danessa Myricks Infinite Chrome Flakes in Strobe Light. Really love this. It's a very unique product, kind of like a gel with these like super chromy flakes in it. It gives a really unique look to the eyes, but I am gonna put this away. The ColourPop Super Shock in A Little Quirky. I had this in here because I wanted to hit pan on it, and I did. So I'm gonna go ahead and put back in my collection as well. Love this shadow. And then this is the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize Cream Shadow in Rose Gold. I'm gonna keep this in here for another rotation as well, just because I don't think I used it at all in the last rotation. And then we have these two eyeshadow sticks. the Urban Decay eyeshadow stick in Fishbowl, and then the Kaja Wink Dazzle in Peach Sprinkle. So this is that dual-ended stick. These eyeshadow sticks, honestly, I wouldn't recommend because they do not stay in place. Again, even with an eyeshadow primer underneath, I do get a little bit of creasing and fading. Even though I think it's really pretty, like I do like the glitter stamp, I just don't think the... I don't know, I don't see a point in an eyeshadow if it's not going to stay in place. Not a huge fan of that, but I'm going to put that away. And then this is the Urban Decay eyeshadow stick in Fishbowl. Such a fun color. I used this in the Get Ready With Me portion of my last everyday makeup drawer and loved it. I used it as a colorful winged liner. Really pretty. That's typically how I use it, either that way or in the inner corner. I don't love this eyeshadow stick formula. I do find it kind of dry when I wear it all over my lids, but just used as kind of like an accent shadow, it's really pretty. I do keep my Norvina palette in here all the time because this year I'm not necessarily trying to pan this palette, but I am planning on retiring this palette at the end of 2024, and so I'm just trying to use up / hit pan on as many shades as I can. Definitely want to use up the shade Base. As you can see, I've actually repressed this already, so there's not a whole lot left of that shade. I use that a lot even if I'm not using any other shades in here, and I try to at least, like, whenever I'm doing my eyeshadow, just have this palette out so that if there's a shade I need from it, I can just dip into it easily, and that way I can really, you know, maximize the amount of use that I'm getting out of it. So I'm going to keep that in there as well. And then over here we have a bunch of lip products. I actually think I managed to use all of this except for the BK Beauty lipstick in Grace. I really like this color, but I do think I tend to reach for this more in like the winter. I think this just isn't really the time of year for this product, so I'm going to put this away. I am really happy that I used this Quo Beauty Glowy Lip Balm several times. This is one of those pH adjusting lip balms, so it kind of looks corally, but it really just gives the lips a pinky wash of color. I guess it has like a little bit of a coral tint to it. I do enjoy this. It's been good, especially for a lot of like more colorful eye looks. I feel like this actually works really well with colorful eye looks because it's sheer, so it's not going to really compete with a lot of colors, but it still is a fun kind of like springy pop. I also really enjoy these Revi Beauty tinted lip products, especially the shade Lily. That's my favorite. I think this is my favorite tinted lip balm in my whole collection. It's just a really pretty nude peachy color, but I think I am going to keep this in here just because I use it so much. But I will go ahead and put away Tulip. This one's really pretty. It's more of a sheer red. That's a really built up swatch, and you can see it does give like a pretty good amount of pigment, but you can also wear it more sheer if you want just like a really subtle wash of red on your lips. I'm going to keep both of these in here as well. This is the Bite Beauty Lip Crayon in Stinger, and this is just the perfect time of year for this color. I love it so much. It's just so bright, so unique, and it's, yeah, it's just beautiful. So that I'm going to keep in here along with the Essence Soft and Precise Lip Pencil in Happy, which is like a soft coral red shade. Goes really well with that Bite lip crayon and a lot of my other favorite spring and summer lip colors. So those will stay. Move these over. This is another, really like a cross between a lipstick and a tinted balm. It's the Urban Decay Shine lipstick in Local. This is a really cool toned shade. Definitely more cool toned than I typically wear, but I did manage to use it a couple of times over the past rotation when I did kind of some purpley eye looks. I still don't love cool tones on myself. Like every time I wear a cool tone look, I'm like, yeah, I don't love it, but it's like, I can appreciate the look, but I don't necessarily love it on myself. But yeah, this was fun to play around with. This is just some eyelashes over here, it's not a bug. These are some lip liners, the Jones Road lip pencil in Mauve. I am going to put this back in my collection, even though it is my current obsession. I just want to give some of my other nude pencils some attention. So I'm going to put this one away, even though I love it so much. And this is the AOA lip liner in Cuddle, which is more of a peach. Another great color for this time of year. This, I also just reviewed the NYX Shine Loud lip color in Goal Crusher. This is another thing, I like it, but it definitely is very liquid lipsticky, the way that it wears off. But I do really enjoy the color, and it's good for short-term wear, like if you just want something full color, glossy, but also transfer proof that'll last you a good like 4 hours before it starts looking gross, then this is good for that. But otherwise, if you don't like liquid lipsticks, you probably won't love this. Lastly, just a few glosses here. This is the Ciate London Bronze Glow Shimmering Lip Oil. I love this. This is probably my favorite lip oil. Really nice texture. It's not sticky, but it has just a little bit of thickness that allows it to really stay on your lips for a good amount of time. and it just has a little bit of like a bronzy shimmer to it, but it's mostly clear. I like using this either to prep my lips as I'm getting ready, or sometimes I'll just use this as my lip color either by itself or over a lip liner. I'm happy to say I finally used this as well. It had been so long since I had used this product. It's the Rimmel London Stay Glossy Lip Gloss in the shade Bare Minimum. This is another kind of nude pink, and I really like it actually. It's not bad. I don't love the scent of it. It smells kind of like baby powder, but other than that, I do really enjoy the way it feels on my lips, and just gives a little bit of a nude pink color. Of course, my favorite gloss of all time, this is the Lawless Forget the Filler Lip Plumping Gloss in Juicy Watermelon. This is the best lip gloss. It's very thick, as you can see. It looks super stringy and gloopy as you take it out, but on the lips, somehow it doesn't end up stringy at all. I mean, usually I wear it more sheared out than this. I feel like it looks very opaque in that swatch because it's kind of a lot of product there in the swatch, but even though I don't normally love really bubblegummy pinks on myself, because this is pretty sheer, I really don't mind it on my lips. I think that's everything for this drawer, so let's go ahead and select some new products to put in. Alright, so starting here in my top drawer, I do want to pick out another primer, and I'm going to go back to my Milk makeup. This is the Milk Hydro Grip Primer, actually a great gripping primer. So I'm going to put this in. I already have a couple of foundations in the drawer, but I'm guessing that the Ilia one will probably be done within the next month or so. So I do want to just pull in another light coverage foundation. I think I'm going to go with this one. This is the AOA CC Cream. This is actually a really nice skin tint. The color is just a little bit deep on me, but I've actually been getting back into self-tanning a little bit with those Isle of Paradise drops, so I think now will be a good time to pull this one in. I'm going to keep working on that Sigma color corrector, so I'm not going to bring in another color corrector right now, but I do just want to add back in my favorite NYX Bear With Me concealer. Truly nothing beats this, and I have missed using it, so I'm going to put that back in. Already good on powders. I do want to pull in one setting spray though. See, I feel like I haven't used this one in a little while. This is the Makeup Revolution Calming Makeup Fixing Spray. Okay, next for the cheek drawer. This is always so hard because I want everything out of this drawer, but going to try to make some decisions. Let's pull in a bronzer that I feel like I haven't used in a little while. This is the LYS Cream Bronzer Stick in the shade Motivate. Really pretty kind of caramely toned bronzer. Great for the summer. It is a little warm for me throughout the rest of the year, but this time of year I do really like it. Okay, so for bronzer, I think I'm going to do a cream, a liquid, and a powder. So we already have my cream. For liquid, I think I'm just going to put back in my Glossier Cloud Paint in Sail. As I was saying, this is just so easy to work with, and it's a little bit more neutral toned than the LYS one, so I think that'll be good to have in there as well. And then for my powder bronzer, let's do this one. This is the AOA Studio Perfect Bronzer in the shade Frappe. One of my slightly deeper powder bronzers, but again, I think this is the perfect time of year for those slightly deeper colors, so let's grab that. For blush, I think I'm also going to do a liquid, cream, and powder. So for liquid, I think I just want my e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush in Peach Perfect. Yeah, I've just been loving this blush so much, and I really want to use it more. So that one's going to go in. My cream blush, I'm kind of eyeing this one here from Milk. This is the Milk Makeup Cream Blush Stick in Work. It's a beautiful rosy peach color. I love this shade. I feel like it ties in with my skin tone so well. So that will be my cream. I think I want to go ahead and put my Franken blush in here as well. Wow, this looks so ugly, doesn't it? But I love this type of warm nude blush in the summertime. So pretty, and it has like a little bit of a glow to it as well because of that highlighter that I mixed in. Just one more cream blush, I promise this is the last cream. But I do also want to pull in this Ilia Multi-Stick in shade Dear Ruby. This is a really bright, warm red that it looks really intimidating in the stick, but these Ilia Multi-Sticks are actually really sheer and buildable, so I don't find it too challenging to pull this off. So let's add that in for a bright, fun, summery shade. So for powder blushes, one I already know that I want to add in is this one, if I can get it out, that Buttermelt Bronzer, which I've been wearing as a blush. Definitely not done playing with this, so I'm gonna put this one back in. And then let's do another one of my favorite like spring and summer blush shades. This is Milani Luminoso, such an OG blush shade, so pretty. Really similar to like that Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush. Also kind of like a blush lighter. Definitely looking forward to using that. Okay, so I think that's enough blushes. Let's just pull in a couple, maybe one or two highlighters. I feel like I haven't used this one in a little while. This is the Makeup Revolution highlighter Reloaded in the shade Just My Type. Just a really light pearly champagne color. I do really like this highlighter, so let's add that one in. It's definitely pretty intense, but I don't mind that. I don't have a ton of cream highlighters. The only ones I have, other than that Ilia one, are part of like a dual-ended stick, and I don't really want either of these in there right now. So I'm actually thinking for my liquid highlight, this is that Makeup Revolution Bright Light Glow Drops. Again, it's kind of like a glowy primer, but it also works beautifully as a subtle liquid highlighter. So I'm thinking if I don't want something super blingy with the Revolution one, then I can reach for the other Revolution one. Next up for the lip category, I do want to pull in one of my favorite summer tinted lip balms. This is the e.l.f. Hydrating Core Lip Shine in the shade Cheery. Really fun coral shade. And then for a gloss, you can tell I'm definitely in like a peachy, warm kind of mood right now. I'm going to pull in this one from Ciate London. This is their Dewy Gloss in the shade Heartbeat. Another warm reddish coral shade. Looks really bright and intense in the tube, but it is quite sheer on the lips. Let's add one of my favorite lip stains. This is the Kaja lip stain in the shade Peach Fizz. It's actually a really nude peach, almost like a cross between a mauve and a peach. The stain is very subtle because it is such a light color, but I love this for just an easy, sheer, glossy lip. I think for just a soft pinky spring color, I'm gonna add in this Queen Musea lipstick in the shade Dorian. This is such a pretty warm pink. We already have one bold color in there, which is the Bite Lip Crayon in Stinger, but I want to pull in just one more. And this is like a really vibrant red. This is the BK Beauty lipstick in the shade Empower. Another really fun, warm red. I think this will go really well with that Ilia blush stick. So with all of these, I want to pick out maybe a couple of lip pencils to go with them. We do already have that Essence lip pencil in Happy in the drawer, which is going to definitely take care of a lot of these coral shades. I actually want to grab, I think, one that was just in the drawer, the rotation before last, and this is the AOA Studio lip liner in the shade Satin. This is a really light peach color that I think will work well with that Kaja lip stain and that Queen Musea lipstick. And then I think last but not least, I also want to pull in my other Jones Road lip pencil. This one is in the shade Nudist. Just a nice neutral brown nude color. This I think would go really well with that Kaja lip stain if I wanted to just neutralize it a little bit. All right, so we are going to pick out some palettes in just a moment, but first I do want to grab just one of my single shadows in here. Let's do one that I haven't used in a little while, but that I love. This is the Flower Beauty Chrome Crush pressed pigment in the shade Quartz. Really pretty, kind of like sparkly topper shade. Love this. I've missed this, so definitely excited to use this again. All right, so now to pick out some palettes to put in my palette basket. Really want to try and keep this to a manageable number, like probably 10 palettes. I think I'm going to limit it to 10, but also keeping in mind that I'll be rotating these out more frequently. One that I know I'm going to add in is this one from Klarity Cosmetics. This is the So Mermaizing palette. This was actually in my spring palette rotation, but I barely got to use it during that time. This is one of my favorite spring palettes, so definitely want to add this one. Another one that I have not been using as much as I wanted to this year, this is the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. A very neutral color story, but it does have some peachy colors in it, which I think make it really pretty for the springtime. I haven't used this a whole lot really since last fall when I first got it, and this was not a cheap palette, so I definitely want to make sure I'm getting consistent use out of it. I'm gonna add that one in as well for a good neutral option. Another one I know I want in there is this one from Ace Beaute. Also just saw that Ace Beaute is rebranding apparently, which explains why they've been so quiet throughout the past year. I don't think they've released anything new. I haven't heard a whole lot from them, but a lot of their palettes are currently marked down on their website because they are, I guess, trying to clear out all of their old stock. But this is the Flora palette from them, which was part of their floral collection last year. Such a beautiful yellow and red themed palette. Love this for the warmer months, so I'm definitely going to pop this one in there. This is another one that I haven't used yet this year, but I really want to. So that one's going in. Ooh, another one that I definitely want to throw in there. This is the Kaja Stacked Eyeshadow Trio in the shade Peach Madeline. Just has one matte peach, and then two shimmers. And I actually did use this the other day. I used all three shades and I got such a pretty look. Those shimmers are so sparkly, and you guys know how much I love peach eyeshadow, so this one I'm really excited to use some more. I really want to toss this one in as well. This is the Odens Eye Sea Talk palette. I definitely think of this as a spring and summer palette because of all those fun, bright pops of color in here. So far I've only used this I think once this year, and it was actually in my last everyday makeup drawer, Get Ready With Me, but there's a lot more shades in here that I really want to use, especially like this taupe over here. That is such a stunning taupe shade. definitely prioritizing a lot of my like fun, colorful palettes this time of year. A couple more mini palettes I want to add in. If you saw my video where I talked about the palettes that I haven't used yet this year, these were both in there, which is such a shame because these are two of my favorite palettes. The Essence Coral Me Maybe. Another really nice peach palette. I love the shade selection in here. I love the range of shades too. You can really do a lot with this little palette. That one's going in, and then this is the Athr Beauty Citrine Quad. Oh yeah, best news ever. If you missed it, Athr Beauty is coming back. They were recently bought out by a parent company, and they're going to be relaunching some of their best-selling products in June, the end of June. I think it's supposed to be the summer solstice, so whatever day that is this year. But I'm really excited to see what they're bringing back. This is the Citrine Quad, which is one of my favorites from them. I do love their eyeshadows, and this is just such a great, really basic, warm, neutral quad. So that's 7, including 2 really mini palettes. I'm really just pulling out what I feel excited to use. So another one that I want to pull in from my video of palettes that I hadn't used yet this year, this is the Lethal Cosmetics Custom 12 pan that I created. This is another one that I think is just so perfect for the spring. I love all the pastels in here, and especially these 2 multi-chromes are so beautiful. So really want to make sure that I'm using this spring and summer. I've been having a lot of fun playing with my Flower Beauty Lights palettes, especially Coastal Lights. This is one that I hadn't used a whole lot. I think I had only used it once since I bought it up until this past week, and I've now used it quite a few times, and I'm really enjoying it. Also have been using Garden more. Let's do Coastal Lights actually, because I've just been having a lot of fun with this one. This has some really cute pastel shades in it, and I think that this is perfect for this kind of late spring, early summer time of year that we're in. This is the one that has some slightly more satiny shades in it, but they're actually still very metallic on the eyes, I found. Okay, it's really hard to pick just one more, but I think I know which one I want, and it is this one right here. This is the Midsummer palette from Alter Ego. Just a great spring and summer palette. I love that pop of lavender in here. It just has a lot of the types of shades I like. Some really nice warm mattes, and also some greens. Like this whole green and taupe quad over here is really fun. This was one of my favorites last summer, so I'm really looking forward to using that some more. Okay, that feels really nice and manageable. Way better than when this basket is overflowing and I like can't even see what's in there. It's just a lot harder to even pick which palette to use, so I think it'll be a lot easier to decide what palette I'm going to use each day. Another thing I really want to start doing in these videos is curating a palette of magnetic singles. This is the majority of my collection of singles right here, and these are the 2 that I curated at the beginning of spring. And I think for our monthly rotation, I just want to fill one of these small palettes with some shades. So I'm kind of trying to think, what kinds of colors do I feel like I'm lacking in my basket? I feel like I would like more pinks and purples. Let's see, I'm gonna pull in this one from Clionadh. This is their single shadow in the shade Light Fast. I'll swatch all of these at the end, but this is a super shifty, I think it's a multi-chrome. It has like a white base and then a pink and green gold shift. Let's pull in a couple of these kind of more lilac shades. This is the shade 90210 from the Lost in Los Angeles palette. And then this is the shade Abbott Kinney from the Lost in Los Angeles palette. So 2 kind of lilac shades. This is a super old ColourPop single. This is the shade Prowlin, which is a really light lavender with a little bit of a golden shimmer. Another ColourPop shade I really like, this is Snake Eyes. It's a light purpley taupe. Let's also toss in this blue shade. This is from the Shared Planet Polar Bear palette, and it's that blue frosty duochrome shade. Okay, another purpley shimmer that I'm going to add in. This is from the ColourPop In a Trance palette, and it's the shade Mind's Eye. It's a really cool toned purple shimmer, kind of more like a periwinkle. So I think this will be good to have. So we have a few different shimmer options, a warmer light purple, a taupey purple, a cooler periwinkle, and then a blue. Then we have these 2 mattes. I'm thinking I want to just add in a couple more matte shades. Let's do the other one from In a Trance. This is the shade Own Your Power. This is a matte periwinkle. Last one I'm going to add in is another one from the Shared Planet Polar Bear palette. This is that really light taupe matte. Love this as a transition shade. It's like a rosy taupe. So I think that will be a good neutral transition color to blend really any of these other matte shades out. Ooh, that is cute. I like that. Cute little 9-pan. Okay, so there are all of those shades swatched out. Yeah, I think this will supplement those other palettes really nicely. Okay, so let's put on some of these products. I am also filming a sunscreen demo today with the Hygge Vegan Sun Cream. That's our sunscreen of the day. But because I'm doing a demo, I am just going to go with my go-to base combo, which is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh. Not going to do any primer today. And then these two powders. So far I really like the way that that foundation is sitting on top of this sunscreen. I just had the tiniest little Heidi hair in my eye. For my under eye concealer today, I'm going to use the NYX Bear With Me. Also, I washed my brushes the other day, and I am so excited to use all my clean brushes now. That is just the best concealer. The way that it just becomes one with my skin, just love it. And then for setting powder, I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Halo Glow in the light pink shade for my under eyes. And I'm going to apply it with a powder puff today. And then I'm going to set the rest of my face with the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Pressed Powder. I think today, well, for my bronzer, I'm going to use the AOA Studio Perfect Bronzer. Yeah, love this bronzer. Even though it's a little bit deeper than some of my others, it goes on nice and subtle. So love that. For my blush today, I'm just going to go with my current favorite, which is the NYX Buttermelt Bronzer. And lately I've been liking applying this with the Alter Ego 1 brush. It's just like a domed powder brush, but it's a little bit smaller and like less dense than what I would normally use for powder, but it's a great size for blush. So I will just tap my brush in there enough to get the powder evenly on there, but I'm also tapping off the excess because this is a very powdery formula and a little goes a long way. So that being said, I've just dipped in 2 additional times because I love it. It's glowy without being sparkly. Really warms up my complexion so nicely. And I just kind of start here in this outermost part of my cheek and then sort of work it, blend it inward. I also like to take some just down the bridge of my nose as well. Kind of doing that sunburnt blush placement very lightly. I feel like it just makes the overall look so much more cohesive. Yeah, if you have this bronzer, try it as a blush, I'm telling you. I'm not sure how the other shades work as blush, of course, this is the only shade I've tried. But from what I've seen, a lot of them have just that slightly rosy undertone. Like, they could have marketed this as a blonzer, you know, like the Bare Minerals. And this is way more of a blonzer than the Bare Minerals blonzers, which just look like blushes. Even though I don't really need a highlighter along with that blush, because you can see I already have a pretty glow on my cheeks, but I am going to go in with some of this Revolution highlighter in the shade Just My Type. I always use a super floppy, fluffy brush for highlighter because I just feel like I get the most diffused application that way. And I like to just keep my highlighter like really out here, basically in line with the outer corner of my eye. That's where I like to keep my brush, and then I just move it in circular motions. And I find that I end up with my highlighter placed exactly the way I want it that way, and it doesn't end up too far down on my cheeks or too close to my nose. There's that, really pretty. Just priming my lids now with some Milani eyeshadow primer. Okay, I didn't apply my Ardell Brow Glue before all my base products, so instead today I'm going to use the NYX Brow Glue along with the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Pen. The reason for that is the Ardell Brow Glue, while I love it, you can really only use it if you apply it before your foundation. Otherwise, it'll just get like those white flakies, which I don't want. So whenever I either forget to do that first or if I just want to do something different, that's usually when I'll do this combo. So I'm going to start with the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Pen in Taupe. Yeah, this matches my brow color perfectly. Then going in with the NYX Brow Glue on top for some added hold. And then just going to take my e.l.f. Brow Lift applicator and kind of gently press those hairs into place. So moving on to eyeshadow. As I said, I always like to keep my ABH Norvina palette out and open just in case I end up dipping into any of those shades. Part of me wants to retest this e.l.f. No Budge cream eyeshadow and then maybe pair it with my singles palette that I put together, since this has a lot of purple in it too. I think, yeah, let's try that. And this time I'm going to try topping this with powder eyeshadows because I haven't tried it that way yet. I'm gonna try to apply just the smallest amount possible. I'm gonna use my Real Techniques shading brush. It's a pretty creamy formula. And I'm just going to apply a really thin layer all across my lid. And then just kind of blending the edges outward. Okay, I think I'm going to stick to kind of the cooler toned purples mostly. I'm going to put some of this Periwinkle matte in my crease. Then I'm going to take some of this Periwinkle shimmer down here, and that is going to go on my lid. I am going to dip into my Norvina palette. I'm going to go into the shade Drama, which is this deep purple. And I'm going to use that as a smoky liner here in the outer corner. And I also want to take the shade Base and just pop that on the brow bone. On a kind of small crease brush, I also want to pick up some of that matte taupe from the Shared Planet palette, and I'm just going to take that right above the crease. I like just the slight bit of contour that adds to the eye, since we don't really have a whole lot of depth going on. Ooh, I love that shade so much. I'm also going to take that shade on my lower lash line really softly with that same brush. Then, going into the Cleona shade in Light Fast, that is going to be my inner corner. Ooh, that is beautiful. I feel like a fairy. Alright, so I just went in with some of that Ilia Limitless Lash on my top lashes. And for my lips, I think I'm going to do this cute pink color from that Queen Musea line. And just to neutralize it a bit, since my eye is pretty cool toned, I'm going to go in with a little bit of the Jones Road lip pencil in Nudist first, just to kind of outline. Alright, now this is Dorian from Queen Musea. I'm going to kind of focus that in the inner part, or like the center part of my lips. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty. I think that kind of ties together like the warm cheeks and the cool toned eye really nicely. Last thing, I want to end off with some Makeup Revolution Calming Makeup Fixing Spray. Shake it, since it's been a while since I've used this one. Ooh, okay, I love this look so much. Here's hoping that that e.l.f. No Budge eyeshadow actually doesn't budge this time. We'll see. I feel like I gave it the best chance it could possibly get. Between the eyeshadow primer, the setting spray, setting it with powder eyeshadow, all of that, like I feel like it should stay, you know? I'll leave a note on the screen to let you know how it held up throughout the day, but I am so happy with this makeup look, so excited to keep playing with all of these products throughout the next month, and especially the new palette rotation I'm feeling really excited about. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video and hanging out. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. I do also have a Patreon and a channel membership if you're interested in supporting my channel further and getting some extra content. My patrons and members get an extra vlog and makeup video every month, so I'd love to have you over there as well. Otherwise, I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I will talk to you again very soon in my next one. Bye!